If you clicked on this video, it's because you want to know if water is wet. But first, I'm going to answer the most commonly asked questions about water. And then, at the end of the video, I'll tell you if water is wet or not. You know the drill. No yapping, strictly business. Let's get right into it. Why is Earth mostly water? Some people estimate that the surface is 80% water. Why though? There's no definitive answer, but there's theories. Neither of them make sense to me. The first one, that there's some sort of molecular precursor to water on Earth before there was water in the first place, making it possible for water to exist. Basically saying that water evolved from something. Not so logical in my opinion. Second one, even less logical. A comet that possessed a great deal of water within it struck the Earth and water dispersed all about. This is why I have faith, because it makes explanation for things that don't have explanation. But I'm not going to get political. Why are humans mostly water? The average human is about 45% to 75% made up of water. People who are more lean carry more water than people who are more heavy. That's a good way to use it. That's the word I'll use, heavy. What does water do for our body? Let me just list it off for you. Have it right here. It regulates body temperature, maintains muscles, lubricates joints, flushes out waste, carries nutrients, and protects all of our organs. 1 week without water and you would die. 1 month without food and you would live. Just goes to show you, we need that. Why does it rain? The causation of rain is the water cycle. I'm going to put it simple for you. Water on the ground evaporates because it overheats. When water overheats, it goes into its gaseous state. Then it rises above air. Once it gets high enough, cools down, condenses, condensation if you will, and then as it's in the air, they start to conjoin together, these little water molecules, and they precipitate, falling back down because they're too heavy to be suspended any longer. Cycle repeats itself, water cycle. You're welcome. Why do we sweat? We all know why we sweat. It's because we get too hot. We're working our balls off out there. It's called thermoregulation. Your body wants to remain cool, calm, and collected. You don't want to be overheating out here. Signals to your sweat glands, yo, it's time to sweat. And you evaporate the water, essentially the same thing. It's too hot, so in the process of the water leaving, your body cools down because it's releasing the hot water. Sometimes I explain stuff and I'm like, damn, bro, I just sounded like such a frat bro when I did that. What is condensation? Condensation is the change from water's gaseous state to its liquid state. You know, sometimes you come outside in the morning, you're about to go to school, you're dreading it, but at least you see a little dew on the grass and the grass is wet. You're like, dang, the grass is wet. Maybe that's something that'll get me through the day. Just maybe. What happens if you overhydrate? It's almost as consequential as dehydration. You want to hit the water sweet spot when you're hydrating. Overhydrating is when you drink so much water that your kidneys can't process the nutrients, and there's a price to be paid for it. Overhydration is rare. I think I've only been overhydrated once. I was running a marathon and I felt some of the symptoms. Some of the symptoms are vomiting, nausea, cramps, diarrhea, headaches. I felt the headaches, the cramping, the diarrhea. I was just pissing straight clear, not retaining the water. And you need salt, you need potassium, you need electrolytes. You don't want to drink too much water to the point where your kidney can't even filter out the good, the bad, the ugly. Is fog water? I don't think most people are asking this question, but fog is just a cloud at a lower level. Where does our drinking water come from? Depends where you live. If you live in a wealthier country, a first world country if you will, two main sources. First and most common source, surface water such as lakes, reservoirs, and rivers. They go through a purification process, but mostly in their common state, they're relatively pure. And then you also have groundwater, which is filtered into aquifers, which filter out the garbage that's in the ground. Those are the two main sources, though. In less wealthy countries, you have desalination, which takes seawater, salt water, gets rid of the salt, rainwater harvest, people who are getting some sort of container to obtain water from the rainfall. Water recycling is also more common in third world countries because water is so scarce. They try to purify, repurify. They have handheld devices that help them with this. Why is rain so peaceful? I just enjoy it, you know. I don't pray to only see the sun. It has a natural rhythm similar to white noise that helps calm us. Rain is nature, and feeling in tune with nature frees the soul. I like that one. Rain is associated with renewal and purity, so people feel good and renewed when it rains. I don't know how true that is, but maybe it's true. Maybe it's true for you. And rain is such an associative pattern that it can activate nostalgia, which makes us remember things that happened when it was raining in the past. This one actually works for me. I studied abroad in London like a year ago, and I remember very vividly a time that it was raining, and a man across the way had an umbrella in one hand and his phone in the other. Umbrellas, I'm going to say it, bad news. Don't use an umbrella, especially if you're using your phone in the other hand. These are your defense mechanisms. Lo and behold, two guys just come up to him, rob him point blank, sock him in the face. The other guy grabs the phone. They dash off. Dude's laying on his back. Nose is bleeding. Umbrella right there. I'm thinking to myself, like, what was this guy thinking holding that umbrella like that? Don't hold an umbrella. Our ancestors used to pray for rain. That feeling on their body was probably glorious. I couldn't even imagine what that felt like. Days without rain, days without water. And it comes from the heavens. Why can't you drink seawater? When I was a kid, I wanted to just go crazy on the seawater. Maybe sometimes I did, and maybe my stomach hurt after. But that's not what this video is about. Can't drink seawater because there's too much salt concentration in it. Salt in small doses is good for you. Too much salt in your water supply will result in osmosis in the way that you don't want it to happen. Water is leaving the cells in your body. Electrolyte, the salt, sodium, potassium, all those balances effed up. You don't want it. Financial statistics on water. This is crazy. The global bottled water market is projected to make $505 billion in 2028. Bottled water has actually been around since the 17th and 18th century, and then it took a huge dip in purchasing. Not many people wanted bottled water anymore, and then in 1970, Perrier is brought to the United States by a businessman using crazy strategic and calculated psychological marketing techniques, and they work, and it's the same marketing techniques that are used today to make us buy a bunch of garbage that we probably don't need. Reminds me of the movie The Lorax, where they're selling air in a can to people. $1.50. Take it or leave it, buddy. What does water taste like? Water tastes terrific. It's the best tasting liquid in my opinion. Although, the water at my house tastes like absolute garbage. But I still drink it though, because I love water. I've had great water before. Water tastes different in different, it's whatever. I can't describe the taste of water. It's scrumdiddlyumptious is what I'll say. On my deathbed, if they ask me one last beverage, run me a water bottle. You know what? Not a water bottle. That's bad for the environment. Run me a glass of water. My fault. Water makes it go. It makes life go. I make it go on YouTube because I drink water every day. This has been another elaboration banger. Y'all know I did fire the other day. I did water today because I saw a comment from John Banky. He said, what would win, ice or fire? And I extrapolated and said, you know what? That might be a suggestion. I'm going to do water. And here you go. If you ain't subscribed, jump on the train now because it's leaving the station. Like, comment, subscribe. We out, man. Until the next elaboration banger.